My experience is in human resources. I am a HR manager in a pharmaceutical company, um, and I am a gamification trainer and consultant for about 5 years. Um, I'm working in pharmaceutical industry about 12 years now, and many years ago, I started to think about how to engage our employees, especially in uh, pharmaceutical field is a little bit rigid in factories and industry. So I started to think about using game-based learning and gamification methodologies to engage them to turn their training days, ordinary training days, in like a competition or a marathon. And that was my start was from here to how to engage those people before I know about the terminology of gamification. It was uh, by nature.
Fantastic. I think that is true for a lot of us as well. But what was the first sense when you actually encountered gamification, and how much were you impacted by it?
Like I mentioned, I started to use game theory and employee engagement about 10 years ago, but about four years ago, I started to search more and know about the gamification concept. Then I studied about gamification. I'm certified gamification trainer and consultant from Gamification Plus in UK. And then I started my startup about specialized in gamification industry 3 years ago. And now I am former player of this startup.
Right. So roughly 4 years. So what was the motivation of starting this initiative called GamUp?
I started this is a startup specializing in gamification because I believed in gamification power and how it can help companies and students for more engagement and more productivity. And there is no another many companies specialize in this industry. So it was like idea how to promote gamification in Middle East and especially in Egypt. Um, and from my passion, me and my partner.
So I also happened to visit your website, and we found out that you were largely training people in marketing, in sales, in HR largely. So it is very interesting to look at that you were dealing with such a vibrant crowd in general. What was the toughest challenge you were training these people?
The first one it was how to introduce gamification concept for people doesn't know about the concept, and frankly speaking it's not very important to know the difference about gamification and game-based learning and serious game, but the main most important point how to use these methods to improve their HR activities or sales or marketing, and how to motivate different people, because I delivered many workshops in Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and everyone has unique culture, even if they are although they are in the Middle East and Arab, but each country has a different culture. different celebrities or popular icons.
Surprisingly, Emad, I could not find that. That is there any difference between how these professionals can be trained versus how healthcare professionals can be trained? Do you see a difference between the two categories?
Um, Let me think. um, I don't see difference between them because finally there are trainees or people wants to know more about the specific topic. The difference is what they really want to know. As a trainer, sometimes you enter the classroom or even online, and you think your audience will want to know about that topic, but actually during or before the training, if you made like a survey or questionnaire, you found that that's not the big deal for them. They want you to train or discuss another important points for them. So that's the difference, but not for the industry. About the target audience and their real needs for the training.
Absolutely. So at Mina Farm, where you are currently working, do you also gamify the trainings, or do you also impart gamified trainings at your current organization?
Yes, of course. The first place I started to implement gamification, it was the company that I'm working in. One of the best case studies for me or my experience, it's about gamified training journey. It's like 1 year training program for 250 employees, and there was classroom trainings and online tasks and team building activities, on-job training, and that's all. It was in one journey for about 14 months, and I used gamification to encourage them and increase their commitment and engagement from the day one to the end of the training. And by gamification, I reached about more than 95% of commitment, and the feedback was about very good to excellent for about more than 75% of the trainees. So it was very successful experiment for me and for the trainees that they don't know about gamification, but by nature, when I put them in different teams and I put like a track, and you have to unlock each steps, and there is a leaderboard, dynamic leaderboard for them, and many challenges during the journey. They did perfect.
Absolutely, I'm sure. Also interesting to know, Emad, do you also use technology to engage the training, or is it also board games which you also are during the training?
I'm using both of two types, but the main concept of gamification is not related to the technology. Sometimes people think to implement gamification in my company, I need IT team and many technologies, softwares or applications. But really, gamification it's 80% about psychology, not about methods. I love physical stuff and board games, but of course, about after COVID-19, you need to know how to use online tools and solutions to engage your trainees. I also designed like a crash course about how to use online tools for interactive training, online training by simple methods like Google Slide, Google Translate, QR codes, even Zoom features. You can use it for gamification and to engage people.
Definitely, I think that is the need of the hour, Emad. With the ongoing COVID-19, everybody has gone digital, and I think
Yes.
the digital gamification, I would say, has taken the line. That's for sure. But interestingly, while you're engaging people using gamified processes, personality plays an important role. And often, I'm sure you would have experiences where people might not respond it the way you want them to respond. So, how important is to understand the personality traits of people before you plan your gamifying exercise in the company?
Uh, I put it like in the second rank after knowing the goal of gamification or the goal of using gamification in the project. That's the first point. Is the gamification the solution for your problem or not? That's the first question. The second question after this is, of course, what are my trainees? What are my user types? I like Hexed model for Andres Merkizaki about user types and how to motivate different user types by different game elements and how to make balance gamified system by to motivate the mix and match of your user types of your trainees. So it is very important. Sometimes we thought this course or this methodology was very successful was with X people, so I can use it again like it is for Y people. But actually, sometimes or most of times it didn't work well. You have to modify and customize and tailor your um, methods for your user types or your trainees.
Absolutely. And I think customization is definitely the key for, and more importantly, now during the COVID-19 situation, a lot of times we often face the same dilemma. We are trying to deal with a bunch of people and students, and we realize that their cameras are off. They're not even responding. We still need to engage them. So we cannot have a same yardstick to measure everything. And that brings me to my next question, which says that how do you plan and what are the key matrices which you use to measure the effectiveness of your training?
Okay. I like before any training to send like a questionnaire for my trainees to know some insights about them, about their interests and what they need. But of course, when you start the training course, you have to be alert about the response of your trainees, and if you found some not working well, you have to be more flexible and adaptable to the situation and change it as possible as soon as possible. Uh, I had an experience When the first time I visit Kuwait for a training, and I took my training course like it is when I delivered to Egyptians, and after like 15 minutes, I found that they are not engaged. They are not interested. So I gave them a break for like 13 minutes for the breakfast and to take a coffee break and something like that, and changed many slides, or I deleted many slides. And the second day, I totally changed the presentation and the concept of the training, and the feedback was very good at the end.
And that definitely holds true for the today's times as well, Emad. There are a lot of times when we think that we are fair, but the moment we face the audience, we realize that, oh, this is not what I mean they might be interested in. So this happens. I think this is the fun part or the surprise element which the audience brings in is almost best thing I can always think about gamification, because they help us learn a lot at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but bringing back to
Some people, some trainees were very keen to know more about gamification and how to apply it. So they took the challenge and went into the project very energetic and enthusiastic, and we start to build the project till the end of the course. Another trainees, I found them, they don't want to make something by their hands, and okay, you can talk and we will take like a notes. So I changed the concept of course that if you want to take a break, you have to unlock the break by doing some activities. So they were very motivated to finish the task, to unlock the break and take the break. So you have to be more flexible and know the need and what motivates your trainees.
absolutely. I'll also definitely try and do some activities like this, wherein I can also probably give them a puzzle to solve. Go for a bio break or for whatever break possible. But this also helps us to bring to the second section of our interview, which is slightly to know more about you, Emad. This is slightly knowing beyond what you have been doing, but this is equally interesting for our audience. So who is your inspiration, Emad? What inspires you to be in this area?
I used to give like some courses for kids from many years ago before my professional job. And I found myself that I don't want to deliver any idea or information by direct way. I'd like to let's play and make some fun and enjoy the learning process itself. Uh, so that was my inspiration in every task I started, because I don't want to finish it like ordinary way, but I'd like to see the fun and engagement of my target audience. And when I started this idea 10 years ago in my company by uh, making Ramadan riddles. In Ramadan, in Holy Week, Holy Month, the energy is little bit low due to the fasting. So I thought about making like a competition, and let's have fun to make riddles and try to solve these riddles. And the feedback was very great. So and many people asked me to repeat these activities again and again and again, and each time it was very successful. So that make me believe more and more in gamification and in fun theory in general.
Great, fantastic. And I think I have also encountered the first time ever that someone actually used gamification during a festival. And in fact, to motivate people in festival. And Ramadan is absolutely a great example because roughly 30 days you are fasting. And I know for a fact that there are a lot of friends who also do fasting, and I completely understand the kind of commitment they have during Ramadan for their work. So tremendous energies, I'm sure. But this brings me to my second question, which says, do you also have any favorite games which you love to play? Any all-time favorite games?
Actually, I'm not a gamer. I like to design games and see people play the games, but I am not a gamer.
See, so we have a different personality trait altogether, wherein someone who himself does not play games, but definitely wants to design some. So wow, that's
Yes,
interesting. That's
my,
definitely interesting.
yes. My favorite game is designing games. I see people play these games.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely sure this is a new area of interest that people would want to get into. But do you also want to recommend any courses, any reading material, any channels for someone to follow who wish to learn and practice gamification in the future?
Yes, of course. There are many valuable courses about gamification nowadays. The first one for Kevin Verbeck about gamification, you will find it on Coursera. I think that he's the godfather of gamification. Also, there is Yokai Show for Octalysis, and you can find it on Udemy. There is a Arabic version for online gamification MOOC on Idrak for Ihab Abudia from Jordan. Uh, Actually, I am certified gamification trainer from Gamification Plus in UK. One of the gurus is Pete Jenkins, and he's the founder of Gamification Plus and founder of Gamification Europe conference. And he has his own Gamification Plus framework. It's great. Monica Cornetti, of course. Then, so nowadays you can find many available courses about gamification and how to apply it. But actually, in my opinion, the godfather of gamification and who invented gamification, our mothers. So they found the concept of gamification from the beginning, and how to motivate each child by turning every process, learning process, eating his breakfast or lunch, every booty training, any step. Uh, our mom used to use game concept in in this activities. So that's a concept of gamification. You have to know gamification is not a game, but to use some game elements to make it more engaging and more fun for the users. You don't have to make complex projects. You can use just one game element uh, by even time pressure or competition or any example of game elements. But how to use it, it's the most important. And like I said, our mothers know how to use it perfectly.
Absolutely. So, Emad, now this is a very interesting thing. While we have talked about, and everybody has talked about mother of gamification, yeah, for the first time we have a concept called the mother of gamification also now. So, and then that completely salute helps me to salute all the mothers who have actually invented, knowingly or unknowingly, this art of gamification. I will say a word, and you need to say one word which comes to your mind immediately.
Okay, it's
Okay?
interesting.
Yeah. So let's begin. My first word is play.
Play is fun.
Family.
Everything.
Stories.
Interesting time.
Board games.
Challenging.
Books.
Inspiring time.
Travel.
Uh, missing feeling.
Motivation.
Important for success.
Hero.
My son.
Enthusiasm.
The energy of success.
Competition.
My favorite item.
And work.
Work. Uh, ups and downs.
Great, Emad. Thank you for that. I think we always tend to play rapid fire round. Uh, the idea is to get to know more about people, formally and informally. That's the whole idea of doing this activity. I'm done, Manish. I'm done up with my question.
Thank you for
Over to
the
you, Manish.
interesting interview.
Really well. So thanks a lot, Emad, for answering all the questions. It's a mutual learning. We have learned a lot from you.